trained chef, and one of the early career, in my life, I was subjected to dormitory food for about half a semester, and I said, that's enough of that. All right, I'm going to learn how to cook. I'm moving off campus, and I'm joining the radio station here so I can make enough money to, support myself, because I came to the conclusion life is too short to have a bad meal, and the only way to ensure that you have it is you got to make it yourself. So
Right.
that has been a gift that keeps on giving.
Or pay for it.
All right, so outstanding. You've got the chart up. I'm going to start a little bit backwards here before we get into findings. First thing is I want to go and say you will hear some assertions. Michelle, are you recording, by the way?
I believe so. I have to come off show.
Okay, I see the red button. Okay, I just wanted to make sure, because they said, all right, record it, please. I'll make some assertions, but ISSIP is free to, take it or, act in other ways. This is, we always do it in that kind of positive, affirming actions that you can take. But you should treat this as stimulus for whatever strategies you want to pursue. All right. So we have no stake in feeling good, bad, or otherwise, on how you act on what you discovered. I'm going to go to Appendix B. Appendix B talks about our observations as a team, and the value of contributed ideas, very high. You didn't have a lot of contributors, right? So your participation relative to the number of people invited was low, but the value of the contributions very high. And the emotion and sentiment, we found that the contributors were very even-tempered and dedicated to the well-being of ISSIP and its members, and were on point almost to a comment, with only a few notable exceptions. So that, I just want you to know that that's from our experience, with these kinds of gatherings, very, very, good outcome. So let's move forward to the first chart of findings.
Okay.
There we go. That's it. So there is clearly a thought that you want to advance the evolution of service science and service economy. It was throughout the comments and in the selected topics that you wanted to explore. You want to move ISSIP from having constraints to living in a state of abundance. You want to attract resources to ISSIP from the prowess of your knowledge and the quality of the network of professionals and executives that you have participating. You'd like to scale the membership and reward participation for being a member. And you'd like to innovate to make ISSIP a preeminent platform for the service science profession and people who want to pursue service science as a career. So there's a lot more in the report, but that's an overview of key findings. Let me just pause. Are there any questions about those findings at this point? Okay, very good. Let's move on to the next chart. Okay, so strategic precedes each of the words in the second line: strategic diagnosis, strategic objectives, and strategic recommendations. At a diagnostic level, what we're seeing is the need for more resources, more volunteers, perhaps different kinds of programs, and technology adoption. Specifically, funding and resources right now is primarily sponsorship and donations. but very limited monetization of your learning assets. So introducing, hybrid earned income models via certifications, partnerships, and content licensing would be, good next steps. Volunteer engagement, there's high enthusiasm for the people who are participating. We think that the strategic implication of, the pathways that are being pursued right now is that you need to build scalable volunteer architectures that are assisted with AI assisted matching, gamified incentives, and visible career benefits. I would add, even though it didn't get a lot of play, is that would be, next opportunities for jobs and careers and mentoring, right? Maybe even reverse mentoring for executives that are well on, that want to get matched with an ISSIP young tiger, right, to tell them what's happening, what's the latest in service science. We got a lot of traction out of reverse mentoring when I was at IBM. Programs and offerings. We think that the learning programs, credentialing development is a good thing that you're pursuing. Now formalizing that in a learning ecosystem with not only large credentials, but potentially micro credentials that can add up to something else. There are universities like Ubiquity University that don't graduate their people on credits. They graduate them on 10,000 microcredits, all right, over a degree. And so that's an interesting, way that you might look at cumulatively, changing the way that people see, participation. And tiered certifications along with industry tie-ins and, the things that that there are particular employers that are willing to stand up and say, we recognize this certification as being particularly valuable to us. We hire people who have this certification. Technology and data. This website right now is static with some fragmented digital tools. So if you were to change the ISSIP website to be more interactive and a sticky source of knowledge about service science that was searchable or available, on demand, that would create a good engagement hub for you. And then brand and research. We think that you've got a respected brand for the people who are currently involved with ISSIP. You want to expand, your reach, your visibility, podcasts, co-branded partnerships, and all that kind of storytelling is a good thing for you to want to do. I'll move a little bit faster here on objectives. Michelle, you and I have had conversations about finance, member activation, and platform transformation is a little bit newer. Came up in the hunt, so let me just focus there. If you can monetize or activate ISSIP's intellectual assets through benchmarking, white label toolkits, and potentially for people who are willing to volunteer doing advisory work that's billable, but limited and not competitive to their current job, are all interesting sources of revenue for ISSIP and can add to professional credibility, because you can start to end up with case studies that if what you're doing at work is proprietary and not discussable publicly, you can do some of these things, benefit ISSIP, and end up with cases that you can talk about, right, in the world at large. I'm going to stop again. Any questions there, Michelle, about objectives? Does that make sense? Okay. And then recommendations, corporate partnerships and sponsorships, taking that to the next level is a good idea. Credentialing and learning revenue, amplifying volunteerism and mentoring, And platform, gamification, and advisory services are, what we just talked about, and that's where we think you ought to go. We'll move on to the next chart.
No questions, Haluk or Terry?
Okay. All right, so now we are in Appendix A. We did a growth and innovation portfolio grid based on everything that was in the hunt, and we put these into 4 quadrants: strategic bets, scalable wins, quick experiments, and foundational enablers. High strategic impact is at the top, bisected by ease of implementation. Low, which means that it's going to be harder to do, but potentially has a lot of benefit if you can get the scalable wins in quadrant 2 to manifest first and potentially, deliver some value in that arena. So the certifications and micro-credentials, your volunteer matching system, your corporate partnership model, gamified engagement and storytelling, and podcast platform are easier to do and could potentially take you over into the top left-hand quadrant, where ISSIP becomes an intelligent platform for both the members and for others that, as businesses or enterprises, might want to subscribe to the knowledge base. Digital twin ecosystem, AI service integration, service science standards and metrics, and the service innovation policy forum. I see I have a typo. I'll get that fixed. Scient, I don't know what scient means, all right, but it's an interesting new word. And then, you can look at the stuff in the quick experiments and foundational enablers, but good opportunities, all right, here, especially in the top 2, from my point of view. Any questions about the way that the portfolio grid, lays out these opportunities? Again, in the report, there's a lot more narrative that goes along to describe each one.
I look forward to that.
Okay.
Okay.
Next, I wouldn't be a strategist if I weren't going to call out the strategic outliers, right? The ideas that looked interesting, but they, didn't actually cluster or generate, clustered discussion. So quickly, ISSIP as a bridge between AI and service design communities. Everything's AI right now. It may well be that, in a couple of years it'll be XR, or it will be something else. You can look at AI and substitute in hot topic for ISSIP as a bridge to those design communities. Service science approach for not-for-profit organizations. You're a not-for-profit, and if you were helping others that are in the same circumstance, you could be delivering a lot of value, because most not-for-profits are service organizations, right? So you could be exerting some, real leadership. And what I want to point out about that is that every one of those not-for-profits are populated at a board level by enterprise leaders. So ISSIP sneaks in the back door as being a really important leader for things that are, the people who have financial resources, who have a lot of muscle. ISSIP starts to show up in some other places if you act on that bullet. Digital legacy and eternal twins, that you're going to, be able to have ISSIP people and knowledge available for posterity. There are a lot of companies and organizations that are thinking about this today. It's a good thought for ISSIP. Be a standards and metrics authority. I'm serving on the IEEE P7100 standards board for AI sustainability. We're looking at energy consumption, we're looking at water consumption, we're looking at effluents. I'm sure that in service science that a lot of the KPIs and a lot of the metrics are in a state of evolving. And it would be great to be able to both be a repository of those that are already thought of as being standards and developing the next set of them. Podcasting, I do podcasting for both people-centered internet, for Content Evolution New World. It works for communities. And if you want to get into that, I can certainly advise on how to make that happen. ISSIP regionalization and hybrid hubs, storytelling platform for digital citizenship, cross-organization policy advisor, synthetic data sets as bridges between academia and industry, and being a private crowd collaboration model, which, by the way, that's the way I treat my podcasts, is I don't treat them as big, available to everybody. They're invitation only, and as a result, the people that I'm interested in influencing and communicating with in a more intimate way are part of those discussions. And then we put it up later so that you can listen to it as part of a library. Any questions about strategic outliers? Okay. Hearing none. My closing thoughts are that there's a lot more in the full report in the corpus that has been sent to ISSIP, representing the entire treasure hunt discussion. It points to ISSIP evolving from a professional association to potentially being a living platform for co-creating and being a resource for the practice of service science and bridging innovation into this space for members and the world at large. So we're encouraged by all the comments that we received from the participants. We thank the moderators for helping make those conversations robust. And when you start to think about using this information for planning as you enter into 2026, the Platform UX team will make itself available to you either to refresh your memory about what was discovered or to actively participate as an adjacent set of resources for your planning initiatives. So I thank you for your time this afternoon and open for any additional questions you might have.
Thank you, Kevin. And those moderators were, so our thanks go out to Amar Reyes and to Dim Spoor and Haluk Demirkan. You guys did a great job.
Thank you, everybody. It was a great effort. And thanks to actually Terry, I know Kevin, both of you also had a lot of comments when I was moderating. That was really helpful. Thank you, appreciate it.
And thank you, Kevin Clark.
And Kevin, I really enjoyed the whole process and the tool we used, actually.
Well, thank you. The
really
treasure
cool.
hunt is being hosted on Heroku, which since we programmed on it has been acquired by Salesforce. But Heroku, we have this very specific, very simple, what we were using is Apple-like standards to say, when you arrive, you know how to use it without a lot of explanation, all right? Now, what that means is, like Steve did with a lot of his offerings, is it meant that a lot of features and functions aren't present because they get in the way of it being dead simple, all right? We're looking at what we're going to do to develop it in the future. And what we think we're going to do is we're going to continue to have a dead simple user environment, meaning participant, but then there's going to be a special place, right, to turn on moderator tools over on the left-hand side to be able to do some functions like, please summarize, the last 2 hours.
Yeah.
Please do the, but we don't want the participants to see that.
Right.
And you'd have to get a little bit more training to be able to know how to use them. And we also think that we want to be able to put up, not necessarily in the threads, but on the landing page, here are the top things that are being discussed, right, that just happened in the last 24 hours or the last 5 hours. The same way that you would see trending information on a social media app. So we're going to be making it better, and it's gratifying to be able to do this in a place where we can talk about what we did for ISSIP, because so many times when we're doing something for a company, the findings are considered to be very valuable and proprietary, and please don't talk to anybody. So if this is the ad, right, at the top of the hour. If you know an organization that would like to do this with Platform UX, our mission is to discover things that you do well, but only for yourself, right? It's kind of an inversion of standard consulting. We're not going to fix you. We're going to discover what you do well, lift it up, and offer it to the marketplace as a new source of revenue. And you can hire us to do that for fee, and then you get to keep all the results yourself. Or if you want to work with us, we can find these things, agree to what we want to platform and bring to the world, and then we can share in the revenue, and then Platform UX will bear the burden of the development cost. So it's an interesting offer for a lot of C-suite executives, because sometimes when the well is dry and we don't have money for consulting, Platform UX can come in with this offer and they kind of go, ooh, that's interesting. No money, new revenue, we're in. Okay, so ad is over. Thank you for spending time with me this afternoon, and thanks to ISSIP for letting us platform you. All right.
We thank you and Mike and Chandra very much. That was a fantastic process.
Yeah, what you understand, part of our motivation is we like to get paid twice. Okay, we will take your money, but we also want to do things that are fun, entertaining, interesting, right? And these discussions are inevitably very interesting.
All right. So did you say when you thought you'd send the fuller report? Or is it
It's already been sent.
Oh.
I sent just a second. Right here.
Luke, I don't know.
Because it has you'll know the one, because it's got a table of contents at the beginning.
Okay, yeah, I didn't see
This
that.
is version 1.4 that was sent on October 25th, Saturday.
Okay, I will check.
Is it there?
Reach out to you if I don't have it. I'm looking for the record button. I see it.
Do you see it?
No, sorry. I will check for that later and give you a call if I don't.
Okay, if you don't see it, it was sent to Haluk. Did you get it? Did you get the full report on Saturday?
Trying to find the mute button. I think I got it. Yeah, Jim and
Okay.
a number of us were in that
Yeah,
email.
Deb,
Okay.
Haluk.
I'm sure I have it.
Right.
No worries.
Okay, but if you don't have it for any reason, let me know. It's
Okay.
just short of 100 pages long, because it includes the entire corpus of the discussion, and it's got that got that visualization in it, and we're
Michelle, you're actually in the email.
I'm trusting that. I have no qualms about it. I'm sure it's there. I'm not at all worried about it. And I will, I guess I wanted to understand timing of next step, when you're going to be, if we've agreed to a time, or are we pushing that out to January? Or I know we want to share more on the progress call, and that material goes a couple weeks prior to the progress call. So just trying to understand.
It went to your ISSIP email address, Michelle. If you want me to forward it to Carol Co-Marketing?
No, it should be there for.
Okay.
It's all right. I'm while we're recording, I wasn't going to go look for it.
Okay. Sounds good.
But have we talked about when we're going to meet with you, Kevin?
Yeah, it was my understanding that that's when you were going to pick up on strategic planning. But if for any reason, if ISSIP needs to call on us to ask questions, we're available from now until you start that work. Just let me know. We're not shy.
Okay, then that means we're gonna look at like the second week of January to talk about it and see where we are and determine what to share out, something readable by the whole global community. So we'll talk about that in January.
I would recommend, because everyone was invited, all right, you should send a note out with a very non-committal, high-level look at what we found, right? You'll see that in some of the summary, so that it slakes their thirst for what happened with that treasure hunt, right? Because otherwise they're hanging, and so
Yeah.
I would recommend that you say something to them soon.
Yeah, it's going out in the year-end newsletter. We're gonna do the summary of what we already had. I'll run it by you, but I just wanted to know if there's timing to promise in January, but we won't focus on that. We'll just talk about
But if
where
you
we
need me
are.
help drafting something that is meaningful but non-committal, let me know.
Okay, perfect. Let me send you what we have, and then you edit it, and we'll get it in the
I mean,
newsletter for November.
I remember one of the phrases that went from the corporate communications staff was, "We're cautiously optimistic." Okay, we're the weasel words. Okay, of we think things are getting better.
We are optimistic. I'm very excited about leadership pipeline, the money pipeline, the energy of volunteers coming in. We have such good things happening. So, and really, this was a fun process.
Well, you can use this, by the way, for people that you're trying to bring in, that are going to be sponsors. You can use this as research collateral, saying we've actually talked to our people, and here are the things that we have ambition to do, and you can help it become real.
Okay, I don't want to take any more time.
All right, I'm done.
Thank you,
Michelle. Terry, hello, cheers.
From me today.
Bye.
Bye.
So much, appreciate it.
Really looks good, and it's a great summary. The only remaining agenda item was to talk about the next meeting, and I don't know, Haluk, if you guys will you have one? Is it 2 weeks out, or are you rescheduling November?
I will check with Deb and Terry and Jim and come back maybe. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess I'm saying goodbye. I'm going to go ahead.
And Haluk, I already said Happy Thanksgiving, Merry Christmas, and Happy New Year.
It's so funny.
With that, I'm going to stop the recording.
Yeah.
Excellent.
All right.
Terry, do you